The judges score the contest 48-46, 48-46, and 47-47 for the winner by majority decision, and
still, ladies and gentlemen, the undisputed African Fighting Podcast champion of the world. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. This is your UFC 322 preview show. It takes place this Sunday, November 16th, with the main card starting at 5 a.m. South African time. And of course, with me today, ladies and gentlemen, is the reigning, defending, undisputed vegan champion of the world. He is our chief analyst. Is, of course, Brother Guy.
Yes, let's go. I think you have to change my name to Brian Mbuemo.
Brian Mbuemo, Brian. Next time I call you up, I'm just going to share a picture of Brian Mbuemo, bro. And then you must just talk over it, voiceover. But yeah,
Yes.
BG, welcome back. Long time no see. We had a very nice stream last night. Really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Hoping for more of the same today. Another stacked card. This time we are covering UFC 322. It is Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. And as always, BG, we will start
At the top of the card.
Let's fucking go. At the top of the card, we do see the welterweight title on the line with the champion, Jack Della Maddalena, 29 years old welterweight champ, 18-2-0. He's got 12 wins by KO, 2 wins by sub, 8 first-round finishes. He's on an 8-fight win streak. Last time out, he beat Bilal Muhammad by unanimous decision. His opponent, however, is arguably, for most people, the pound-for-pound GOAT. It is Islam Makhachev. He's the former lightweight champ, making his welterweight debut. Professional record 27-1-0. He's on a 15-fight win streak, 5 by KO, 13 by sub. Last time out, beating our boy Manny Moicano by first round sub, was it?
Yeah.
First round sub, yeah. So yeah, we finally here. Islam Makhachev making his long-awaited welterweight debut in a title bout against JDM, Jack Della Maddalena. Brother Gaia,
Yes, sir.
who's going to be the champion at the end of this one, though.
Yo, Eddie, what a difficult fight to actually break down, dude. This is actually one of those high-level MMA fights where, personally, I think only coaches can actually isolate key things that can happen in this fight. As a fan, it's too technical for me to really break down. Picking Jack Della Maddalena really has proven to me that he is not just the guy that can go in there and can box with you. He's really high level as an MMA fighter. Jiu-jitsu, grappling, you name it, stamina. Just that dog warrior mentality that he has. It's just high level. But he's taking on the pound for pound. Let's be honest. He's taking on the guy that everyone seems to be unbeatable at this stage. But I do think that it's going to be a tough fight for Islam. I'm going to say that now. He's going up in weight, right? This is going to be an opponent. Look, Islam Makhachev, technically, he's a welterweight. I mean, we all said it when he was fighting at lightweight that he's very big lightweight already. I watched the tape of Alexander Volkanovski, and he did a breakdown of this fight. And even he said that Islam Makhachev won't have an issue going up to 170 because he was already 170 to begin with. That was something that he did pretty easily. I mean, cutting weight for this fight is like easy for him. He didn't have no problem cutting weight for this fight. So Makhachev should be okay comfortably. He should be fine. I just wonder what it will be like for him when he's trying to wrestle a body that is naturally that 170. JDM is slightly taller than him, not as full, but also generally a big dude. But I think it's not going to be that easy for Islam purely because JDM has got, what's his name, Craig Jones in his corner. And Craig Jones has got the strategies to deal with the Dagestani wrestling style. If you look at the other fighters that fight with the same gym of Craig Jones, that compete in other organizations, like Valdez, for example, at the One Championship, these guys have got such high level jiu-jitsu that they're not even afraid to be taken down by the Dagestani wrestlers. They're like, take me down, bro. Let's go. I'll even go down to the ground for you. let's go from there. You know what I mean? So I think JDM it's the first time that we're gonna witness a fighter that's fighting against Islam other than Arman Sarukian that is not scared to wrestle with him. You know what I mean? If you look at Islam's previous opponents like Manny Moicano, Dustin Poirier, and even Volkanovski to a degree, Charles Oliveira, all the guys, they all fought to kind of stay away from his grappling and they want to strike with him. You know what I mean? But JDM, I think he's not worried about any of the avenues here. I think he's not concerned about the striking or the wrestling. Although Islam's striking has gotten significantly better over the years. I mean, he's sharp. He pretty much outboxed Dustin Poirier. And yes, you're going to say, oh, it's old Dustin, but I mean, it's still a very dangerous Dustin Poirier. It's not like a 40-year-old Dustin, it's a 37-year-old Dustin. So he still pretty much can box with you, and Islam outboxed him in that fight. So Islam definitely leveled up his game, but I still believe that JDM has got the superior striking. And for me, it's just a matter of who wins the mental warfare, who wins the battle of nutrition is the one that's going to win this fight here, because I don't know if Islam can knock him out. He can definitely tap him out, right? But he's going to have to do a lot of work to get to those dominant positions. Because JDM never really settles for bottom. If you watch all of his fights, whenever he does get taken down, you can't really keep JDM there for longer than 10 seconds. That dude's getting up immediately. And even when you're taking him down, he's making you pay for that entry or for that shot, right? So he crack you with an elbow, you uppercut you. I like what Dean Thomas spoke about when he was breaking down JDM, and he said if you watch JDM striking, right? He's never striking in the positions where he's overextending himself so he can get taken down. He's striking you, but still sort of keeping his hips away. And he's still throwing devastating boxing combinations. He's putting you away with those boxing combinations. But at the same time, he's not hitting you and then allowing himself to stay there to be countered with a strike or with a takedown. He's striking you, but he's almost squaring his hips up to you and like, all right, you can't really shoot at me here right now. You're forced to either get away or you're going to have to engage with me. But you can't shoot for a takedown. I like that. I find that elite striking when it comes to MMA. That is high level shit right there. There's a lot of guys you notice they get so comfortable, right? You shot for a takedown, I stuffed it, I get up, and then they pull the shorts up and they're like, all right, now I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna stand and bang with you, and then they get taken down. Whereas JDM, it's like it's not really gonna happen. And if you do take him down, he's very well versed and prepared for that bottom game. He's like, all right, we'll go here. I'll tap you out from bottom as well. It makes no difference to him. So I think this might be Islam's toughest test, bro. I really do think so. If you ask me to give you a pick, it's very rare do you go against Islam Makhachev, bro. It's such a hard guy to pick against, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna go JDM for the win. I think overall he's too much of a puzzle. He's got the wrestling he's got the wrestling capability to wrestle with you. He's got the jiu-jitsu to deal with him. And even notice very carefully, even Merab spoke about this in the past, that the Dagestani wrestling-based fighters don't really deal very well with high-level jiu-jitsu guys. Like they can shoot with the takedowns in the jiu-jitsu guys, but once they're at the bottom, they don't really stay there for too long. So they'll take you down, they will ground and pound for a little bit, but they'll get up immediately after that because the ground game is just way too risky for them. They can tap you out with anything, and I think JDM has got that in his locker, where he can grab a limb, dude, at any moment when he's on bottom or on top control. He can grab a limb and put you out with it. I think Islam needs to fight this fight very carefully and not looking to go in there and just bully him because I don't think he can. I don't think he can bully this guy. I think JDM is too tricky. It's a massive 170 pounder. And again, I keep repeating this, but JDM's got a very good skill set, guys. His tools, his weapons of choices, it's something that Islam hasn't fought against. And the only other guy I could only really imagine beating Islam Makhachev was Arman Sarukian. But now he moved out of the weight, so JDM is the next best guy, and I think JDM is the guy that can really put him in trouble. And even Kamaru Usman is another guy that Islam was speaking about. Like, that's the one fighter. He's not too sure where to place Islam, and that tells me that he's a little bit uncomfortable. Excuse me, Kamaru Usman. He's a little bit uncomfortable about those two fighters in particular. So I think JDM should be a good bet for the guys this weekend. He might even be the underdog.
He is the underdog, and he's a very big underdog at that. JDM is at 3.2 for your money at the moment. Islam Makhachev as the favorite is starting at 1.36. PG, what do you think about this one going the distance, bro?
I think that's likely. I do think that's
Mm.
likely. Just because both guys are extremely tough to put away. I can't remember a fight where I've seen Islam like badly in trouble. Other than, I mean, like the two most grueling fights he's been in was the Arman Tsarukyan first fight, the first fight against Volkanovski. Sorry, and the third fight would be the Dustin Poirier one, his last one. Those are the fights where the only time I saw Makhachev actually look human was those three fights.
Mm.
Very rare moments to find. So he doesn't really get finished. Same with
Yeah.
JDM. He's 8 fights in the UFC. The man's barely been in trouble. He's been in wars, but he's barely been in trouble. And the toughest fight that he had was Bilal Muhammad, and Bilal couldn't even put
Mm.
him away. So I think it's a tough fight to. I think the chances of it going to 5 rounds is highly likely. More likely than a finish.
So the bookies are putting this at 2.3 to go the distance and 1.53 not. So also agreeing with you on that one.
Whoa! I think it's gonna be a finish.
Well, they think
Oh
that
no,
well, they think that there won't be a finish.
there won't be a finish. Yeah, I think it's gonna go the distance.
No,
I'm
they
inclined.
think it's going to go the distance. They think it's not going to go the distance. Sorry, I don't know why I read it like that. They think it's not going to go the distance, so they're not agreeing with you.
Not to game
They
with me.
think
Let's see if
somebody's going to get out of there.
I don't know, eh? They don't fight like that, man. They either finishing fighters, but like they're barely getting finished, and both of them are very good defensively as well. Like if you actually watch JDM, dude, like people very rarely put him in trouble. You know what I mean? Fighters
Mm.
don't really put him in danger, and like you can even tag him. I mean, Bilal tagged him a few times in that fight, in that championship fight. JDM was busted up. Let's not make any mistake here. It wasn't a fight where JDM cakewalked Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad put up a good competitive fight against him, and JDM withstood those attacks. He didn't get rocked. He took them like a champion, and he fought right through it. So I find that very impressive, actually. So that's what I'm saying. I kind of think it's gonna go 5 rounds unless someone gets caught in the submission, which is also again a good shout if you're gonna bet on a submission win. 'Cause that's the only way I see a finish. I don't see either of these guys knocking each other out unless one of them gets super tired after a grueling round of grappling, and then they have nothing left in that next round, and then that's where someone can get caught.
Yeah. I mean, making a lot of sense. But yeah, bro, I just feel like every time I feel like somebody can, and it's probably because he hasn't lost in 15 fights. But every time you feel like somebody can beat Islam, he just is too good for them.
Who's wins, yeah.
I think it back to Charlie Olives when we were talking.
Yeah.
We were talking about Charlie Olives as elite level jiu-jitsu, and we all thought wouldn't be afraid to go to the ground with him. But Islam cut through him, bro, like hot knife through butter, and like
Easy money.
tapped him within seconds. Yeah, so I'm very like wary to start believing that Islam can actually lose. But it is a new weight class. It is a very game and tough opponent who, to be fair, beat someone who trains with Islam.
Yes.
I don't know if that kind of contributes anything, but it was a similar style. It's wrestling heavy, decent striking, but Islam is Islam, Brian. Yeah, it's just because he hasn't lost in such a long time. It's just very difficult to try and see it in my mind.
I can
So
see
yeah, unfortunately, as much as I want JDM to be still here, I'm gonna have to lean towards Islam, unfortunately. Well, not
Can I?
unfortunately, but yeah, I just feel like that's more likely. Yeah.
Unfortunately, you say. I don't see this Pakistani guys win anymore. No,
Nah,
let me.
it's not that, but it's just that I do dig JDM, and I think he's like he got a very cool style. He's super game, and
Yeah,
he's funny, bro.
this funny
Is
guy.
that
Yeah.
him and Ian's son?
Oh yeah, admin teachers with that one, bro. Look, can I try to persuade you a little bit? Can I maybe try and convince
Please,
you
yeah.
about trading? I mean, again, you don't have to believe what I'm saying. But let's just take in isolation the first fight of Volkanovski versus versus Islam Makhachev, right? Because the second fight, because a lot of things you could argue that Volk wasn't necessarily Volk, but he still took the fight, take nothing away from Islam's performance. It was just something that on that night, I don't think anybody would have beaten Islam on that night. But that first fight, there was a lot of stuff that you can take away in that first fight that really made Islam look uncomfortable, right? And it was the counter wrestling, it was the thickening of the jiu-jitsu when he got taken down to nullify the next position, which forced the get up, and now we're gonna strike. And I'm gonna say it again, like I said it earlier. the only camp that I've seen that has done that successfully to the Dagestani-based wrestlers are the fighters out of Australia, right? Because they got that Craig Jones in them. They got Craig Jones hounding them day after day, drilling different techniques about to avoid and get out of positions. I'm not sure we saw the tape of JDM and Craig Jones training on how to escape dash chokes and rear naked chokes against the cage and in the center of the octagon. Did you see that?
No.
That was pretty wild, bro. That was pretty wild, and I think we have to pay attention to that because if you want to isolate tapes where Islam was in trouble, it's those fights, bro. It's the Arman Sarukian fight and it's the Volkanovski fight, and even Dustin up until that fifth round was really good at not allowing Islam to take him down. And Dustin's not even like a high level all-American wrestler. You know what I mean? He's got black belt jiu-jitsu, but he's not like a supreme Olympic wrestling kind of style. And he was able to deal with it for 4.5 rounds. So again, and lastly, the big thing I want to add on here is Islam has put on more muscle for this weight division. Is he going to have the same type of gas tank? Because now there's a lot more muscle to carry than he did in lightweight. It's 10 pounds extra of muscle. You know what I mean? That means more oxygen needs to be applied to the muscle for it to survive. Is he going to be able to do that in this? Is he going to have the same kind of pop and speed and power in the later rounds that he had in lightweight? Because in lightweight, he was a machine there. You know what I mean? Islam at lightweight was, dude, he was basically invincible if you're being real here. And now he's going up into a division where JDM is coming into his prime. 29 years old, champion, taking out Bilal, who trains with Islam. And again, training with Craig Jones, I think that's going to be the key thing in this fight. Don't be surprised if you see Islam really battling. And something I notice about these Dagestani wrestlers as well is that when they're in trouble, they go to default setting, and that is combat sambo. So that's going to be relentless wrestling, relentless shooting. Even if you're exhausted out of your mind, Umar Nurmagomedov that did it to Mario Batista. They're just gonna grab your hips. Even if they have to take a shot in the face, they're gonna do it anyway because that's the last resort. And I can see this fight going like that, where JDM stifles the takedown so much that Islam starts panic wrestling and like just gets overly aggressive, exhausts his options, and then you see maybe fourth round, JDM catches him with an elbow. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to make here is it's not going to be as easy as what we think, because the last thing we remember is Islam on a 15-fight win streak. You know what I'm trying to say? We need to also pay attention to that. You need to highlight where tapes and footages where he actually did go wrong and he was looking like he was like a normal human being. And I'm sure JDM and his camp would have done the research on that as well.
For sure. I mean, these guys do game plan all the way down to the T. So yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, bro, but I just think until Islam loses, in my mind, he's always going to have this air of invincibility about him, just because he has beaten such high caliber opponents, especially in his last fights. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. And one thing we can say is we're going to find out Sunday morning, 5:30 SAST. But all right, PG, we can keep moving. Then we have another title about in our co-main event. It is the women's flyweight title on the line, and we have two athletes here who might not be your female MMA GOAT, but they will definitely come up in the conversation when you're having it. It is Valentina Shevchenko. She is the flyweight champion. She's 37 years old, number one on the pound-for-pound rankings. She's 25-4-1, 8 wins by KO, 7 by sub, 5 first-round finishes. Last time out beating Manon Firo by unanimous decision. The challenger, Zhang Weili, is 36 years old. She's the former strawweight champ, now going up to get her second strap. She's number 2 pound-for-pound, 26-3-0, 11 by KO, 8 by sub, 11 first-round finishes on a 5-fight streak. Last time out beating Tatiana Suarez by unanimous decision.
Yeah.
PG. It seems like every time Valentina comes up against the next best thing, and she always seems to be able to find a way.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be more of the same year, bro? Or is Weili going to be and a new?
Yeah, I can actually see it being a Valentina win. But I'd say 51% to 49%. Like it's just it's a coin flip. The one thing I think Zhang Weili has over Valentina is athleticism and explosion. You know what I mean? Like, because in terms of wrestling, I think they're equal. I think they're both phenomenal wrestlers. In terms of striking, I think Valentina edges it a little bit better because of her Muay Thai kickboxing style. She's faster, sharper, phenomenal counter striker, but doesn't have the same explosion and power that Weili has. Weili has got immense power. I mean, she picked up fucking Francis Ngannou, put her on her shoulder, put him down, and I mean, like, let's be honest, it's a straw weight picking up a 255 pounder. Do you know what I mean? And she did it quite easily. Um, and if you look at the training regimes as well, it's a lot of explosion and power. It's a lot of a lot of twitchiness and she's fucking gebo, bro. Like Weili is gebo. She's so intense. I just don't know because if you watch Weili, right, when it comes to a fight style where it's predominantly striking, when we get to the fourth and fifth round, Weili starts to really slow down and there's no pop in the shots there, but she still survives it for the most part. It's not a significant drop, but there is a drop. And Valentina, there's no drop off. To watch it throughout the 5 rounds, if anything, she gets better as the fight goes on. She doesn't really go downwards, whether she's wrestling or striking with you. Shevchenko just gets progressively stronger as the fight goes on. Weili, where she can get Valentina, is she can actually crack her. She initiates dirty boxing, initiates the striking. Valentina will be comfortable going backwards and counter striking. You've seen it in all her fights. But Alexa Grasso was able to drop her. You know what I mean? Alexa Grasso was able to drop Valentina, and I think Weili would KO Grasso with one punch, in my opinion. Weili hits extremely hard. She's explosive, she's powerful, she's speedy, got great kicks, and she can wrestle. It's a very even fight. But the reason why I'm tipping it towards Shevchenko is because I think she'll be able to game plan, and by using the reach advantage, by using the backwards counter striking and lateral movement, I think she'll be able to use that for 5 rounds and win the fight on decision. As long as she's able to reverse or stop the takedowns from Weili and maybe get her own takedowns going, she wins the fight on decision for me. It's going to be very even. The only thing where I am so concerned for Shevchenko is when they do get into those sort of rallying, when they're car crashing and now they're staying in the pocket and they're throwing a 4-piece combination at each other. I think in those moments, that's where I feel like Weili can actually get her and possibly even end the fight. I think knockout win comes from Weili's side, or submission win can go to either one. A decision win goes to Shevchenko. I think she can game plan a little bit better. But honestly, I don't think I really want to give a definitive pick because I can't decide it. And it's not because I'm a fan of them. I just think that this fight is too even for me to really justify who's going to be the one on top. But I give it to Shevchenko because it's her weight class. Weili's coming up. So there's meaning that's going to be more. There's going to be more changes and more adaptations to Weili versus Shevchenko in this fight. Shevchenko doesn't have to do much in terms of extensive weight cutting or putting on muscle. She stays where she's at. You know what I mean? Now all she has to do really is just game plan something against Weili. Whereas Weili is gonna not only game plan, but she has to put on more muscle, get into that weight class successfully, be comfortable with that body type, and then see how that goes through 5 rounds. So there's a lot more factors that could actually go wrong. A lot more single point failures that could go wrong for Weili as opposed to Shevchenko. And that's probably why I'm tipping it towards Shevchenko ever so slight. I'm not even sounding convinced for myself by saying this. So I'd rather wait for the weekend to see what actually happens.
Yeah, if we go to some numbers, BG, you'll see that the bookies are this time very much agreeing with you. Valentina Shevchenko is 1.75. Zhang Weili at 2.10. So the line is extremely close here. Personally, I am liking the fight to go the distance here at 1.44. I think that would probably be the safest bet if you are betting this week, ladies and gentlemen. But okay, BG, give us some final thoughts here. Yeah.
Final thoughts. If you want to take a big gamble that could possibly happen, like there's a chance it will happen, because I can really see Weili cracking her with something big and then dropping her and looking for a TKO finish. No lies. Like something is just giving me that vibration in my bones that I can see that happening. But if not, I think I think Shevchenko wins on a 5-round decision. Maybe Kate bags 3 rounds to 2.
We gonna find out indeed. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. BG is feeling a Zhang Weili KO in his bones Zhang Weili by KO is currently at 8 for your money. So every rand you bet, you get 8 rand back. So yeah, feeling it in the bones. Let's see if we are feeling it in our pockets come Monday, bro. But alright, do you have any other thoughts here, bro, before we move on?
I mean, it's a fight for the ages, guys. This fight's only here because these women were wiping out the divisions and they don't have any opponents to take on. So I think we have to put some respect on that, guys. We've got the best of women's MMA going up against each other here. So I'm super amped for that fight. Can't wait.
Super amped indeed. And yeah, drop your thoughts in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know your picks. Let's get those parlays in the chat or in the comment section, boys. Always very interested to see that. But we do have another bout here with title implications in the welterweight division. These two gentlemen have just one loss between the two of them on their professional records. It's Sean Brady versus Michael Moraes. Sean Brady is 32 years old. He is the number 2 ranked welterweight. 18-1-0, 3 wins by KO, 6 by sub. He's on a 3-fight streak last time out, assaulting Leon Edwards before putting him out of his misery in the 4th round. Michael Moraes is the number 8 ranked welterweight. He's perfect at 18-0, 13 by KO, 9 first round finishes last time, finishing Gilbert Burns in the very first round. So, bro, lots of implications at the top of the welterweight division for this one. It seems to be a kind of classic grappler versus striker situation, or what are you thinking here, BG? How's this one gonna look when it finally happens?
I think you hit the nail on the head there with the classic striker versus grappler match. And I'm going to say this now, guys, and this might be like a hot take for you guys out there. So you're hearing it here first at FWF. But I've got Sean Brady for the win here. I'm definitely hyped on Michael Morales. Honestly, I saw him coming to the UFC, and I was like, who on God's green earth is this, brah? Who is this, brah? And I'm not sure if you guys saw the tapes. He might be the first cross-dressing athlete that we have in UFC that's super dangerous. I mean, if you go watch the tapes of this man on X, he does mad stuff online in his personal life. But in terms of fighting, how does he make the welterweight limit? How is he 170 pounds, bruh? Look at him. Look at this dude. I'm pretty sure he's a middleweight. He's a gigantic welterweight fighter. I mean, he towered over Gilbert Burns. And Gilbert Burns was one of the heavy guys of the 170-pound division. And he made Gilbert Burns look tiny. Absolutely tiny. Yes, I know it's an old Burns, but still, man, it was a monstrous performance. Quite frightening to watch, actually. Even Burns' eyes lit up when he got tagged. He was like, oh, I don't want to be in here. Now, that being said, I think the whole concept of classic grappler versus striker matchup, we got that name because it's a stylistic fight. Either one can actually win, right? If they implement their game plan correctly. For Michael Morales, it's tough in takedowns, keeping the fight on the feet. You have the advantage. You can piece him up and get the KO finish. For Sean Brady, it's obviously grueling, taxing performance. Get him up against the cage, grind, put him down, get him on his bum. If he gets back up, attack the ankles again, get him down again, weigh him out, and then he basically won't have the same pop in his shots. You can look for the submission or ground and pound finish. Now, Sean Brady's grappling, I think it's split down the middle by the audiences in the sense that a lot of the fan base actually consider him to be quite a high-level grappler. Other fans consider him to be, just above average. And I like to think that he's actually of the elite when it comes to this divisions of grappling. Like, I mean, even Islam Makhachev, when they asked him about him and they said, what do you think? I'm not sure if you saw the video where they asked him, they're going to give him a list of fighters and you must tell us who needs to go to Dagestan or not to level up their wrestling. And they asked him about Sean Brady and he says, nah, Sean Brady's fine. He can stay where he's at. His wrestling is pretty top-notch. That's a big statement, bro. It's like Henri telling you that you are a very good striker. You know what I mean? And I actually think Brady's grappling is high level. It's very dangerous. And I don't know what Michael Morales looks like when he's on the ground. I don't know what his defensive measures are when he gets put on his back. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen it. No one has started to take him down in the UFC so far. There's Michael Morales cross-dressing. Yeah, did you watch that video? It's actually quite funny.
Bro, I saw it. I didn't think it was him. I thought it was just like somebody that looked like him. But now I'm finding out that this is really him, bro. Like,
yeah. But he's so fucking dangerous, bro. This man put you out with one shot. whether he's touching you with a jab or a high kick, dude, you're not getting up when this man hits you. And he's, like I said, he's a big welterweight. So look, as long as Brady can stay away from the striking battles, and he can initiate those takedowns more often, if he can keep making Morales defend takedowns, it's gonna edge him closer to the win. So I'm gonna go with with Sean Brady, because I think that not only does he have elite wrestling, right? People also underestimate Sean Brady's power and striking. You know what I mean? Like when he tagged Leon Edwards didn't like the way he was getting tagged from Brady. He hated it. You could see it was like, oh my word, I actually underestimated this guy. He actually hits that hard. You know what I mean? And Brady's a tank. And we watched his training so far. He's obviously got this in his mind now that his time is now. I mean, this is the first time he's in the top 3 of the division that's already stacked with people that we're all, including myself, have written him off. I was like, Shafkat beats Brady. Edwards beats Brady. Usman beats Brady. Bilal smokes him. You know what I mean?
Bilal finished him, bro.
Bilal finished him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, they're all going to beat this guy. But I think that might have switched. The fact that he lost to Bilal might have switched something in his brain. And I mean, let's be honest, since the Bilal lost, he's really shown up and turned himself into a beast, bro. So, yeah, and also this year has been this kind of year where we ride the high of these KO specialists, and then they fight against somebody that can actually withstand him and take them down. And then we realize, okay, throw check is most the word people are throwing down these days. Mauricio Rufy got throw checked by Benoit Saint-Denis. So this could be one of the same cases here where Sean Brady actually throw checks Michael Morales. I don't want to use that term so much because Michael Morales is only 26 years old, guys. You know what I mean? He could be a champion within 2 years. So, yeah, I don't think that. And the reason why I'm picking Brady also is because of the experience. I think that the experience will be able to carry him through this fight. Because you know what Michael's going to do. Michael's not going to walk you down and then pump fake a jab and then shoot for a double leg and then take you down and submit you. If he does that, I'll do something mad on stream. But I don't see it happening. So I think Brady will be able to expose that and show that this bro don't know how to grapple, guys. Let me quickly show you. So I got Brady for the win.
Sean Brady is starting as the 1.69 favorite. Malcolm Moraes is 2.2 for every rand that you bet if you are in South Africa. But yeah, just that loss. Moraes, yeah, is the dog here.
Oh.
But yeah, I just thought that performance against Leon Edwards from Sean Brady was just
monstrous.
It was dominant. Like to beat a former champion like that was ridiculous, and I think it's gonna take a lot to stop him. I think Moraes has to get it done early if he's gonna win this fight. To be honest, I don't see him over 3 rounds getting the job done, and I think Sean might even tap him out. Because like you said, we haven't seen him. We haven't seen him face adversity, let alone be on his on his back on the ground, having somebody wet blanket him or just like controlling him on the ground. So it's going to be very interesting to see. But personally, I'm also leaning towards Sean Brady for this one, PG.
Another thing, AD, I like that you brought it up about Leon Edwards. If you remember correctly, in that fight, every round Brady was just picking up the pace. He was just getting heavier. I mean, like faster and stronger. He was just picking up the energy, and I was like, "Yo, look at this, bro! I didn't know he had this in him. He's a beast, bro. He's absolutely monstrous." And also, Michael Morales relies on explosion. So I'm pretty sure if you're taking him down, he's going to explode to get up because he's one of the biggest welterweights in the division right now. And he's probably going to power to get out of there. And everybody knows in elite grappling, you don't do that to get out of positions. You don't just burst with a lot of energy and a lot of power. You might get it right the first 2 times. Exactly like Derek Lewis. You might get it right the first 2 times, but then third time you're realizing, I don't have any more juice in the tank to do the same thing. Yeah, because you just burst every time. Full power. For grappling, leverage is gold. Create leverage, you don't have to use a lot of power to either get a submission, to get away, because you got the leverage. And I got a feeling that Michael Morales relies on explosion, power. You know, and I think that's where he'll get caught.
Okay, so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Both of us going for Sean Brady on this one. So I think it's time to lock that one in for the parlay, boys. But all right, PG, some more welterweight action here. The aforementioned Leon Rocky Edwards is coming up against Carlos Prach, and this one's going to get hard beating. A little bit faster there. But yeah, this is going to be a fantastic display of striking. I imagine no grappling is set to take place here. We have the former champion Leon Rocky Edwards, who is 34 years old, ranked at number 4 in the welterweight division. He's 22-5 and 07 by KO, 3 by sub. 5 first round finishes. He's on a 2-fight slide since losing his championship, and his last loss came to Sean Brady in the 4th round, where he just seemed like he was put out of his misery in that one, because he was dominating for the whole fight, and finishing the fight early there was just mercy almost, in a sense, bro. But that's just again testament to how good Sean Brady was on the night. But let's see what Leon's able to do here. Carlos Prach, his opponent, is 32 years old. He's number 9 ranked welterweight, 22, 7-0, 17 by KO, 3 by sub. 10 first round finishes. Last time out, Beyblade, Jeff Neal, spinning elbow in the very first round. So I don't know, bro. When I saw this fight, I was just like, Carlos Prach by KO. But he was also such an elite striker, bro. So this is going to be a very interesting one. So BG, fascinated to hear how you think this one is going to play out, bro.
Yeah. No, me too, AD. I also, when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, Pratis is going to get a finish here, guys. But in the same breath, I was also thinking, but I'm also saying this because of how Edwards looked in his last couple of fights. But those were two high-level grapplers that he fought, right? You know, Brady and Bilal are very good grapplers. So it's not favorable matchups for him. This is more favorable for him because it's another striker. I don't think Pratis is going to try and shoot on him, right? So that's going to mean Edwards is not going to have to worry about that. He's going to be thinking about striking primarily. And I think there's a striking. I would say Leon Edwards is a little bit more polished, like more textbook, if you will. But I think Pratis is a little bit more dynamic and a bit more creative and does things a little bit against the grain. You know what I mean? That's putting back elbow against Jeff Neal. Bro, like, are you mad? Are you mad? Like, he threw it also going backwards. Have it. It's stuff that you don't see Edwards doing. You know what I mean? And we rate Leon Edwards as a very, very high striker. But we don't see him doing stuff like that. He's not very flashy, right? But he's so well coached in his techniques that when he does throw, it's not a high volume, right? But it's very precise striking. So my point is, we could see Leon Edwards go into this fight and body kick Pratis into oblivion. We can also see a fight where Pratis keeps Leon Edwards and then catches him with a spinning elbow. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Pratis has got the longer reach. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he may have the longer reach there. Let me just double check. 78-inch reach, and Edwards got 74. And leg reach is only 0.5 of an inch longer to Pratis. So, and Pratis does have a very mean jab on him. That jab goes out nice and long, and it tags his opponents really well. It's a strikers matchup, dream matchup for us as fans that want to watch high level striking. I think it will do either one of them a good job if one of them actually does feint for a takedown or shoot. I believe Edwards does have the slightly superior grappling between the two guys. Not that it's going to be the thing that will win him the fight here, because Pratis does a very good job at not really giving up a lot of sort of damaging positions when he gets taken down. Like he doesn't really put himself in that much danger. He can get himself up. He's very competent in getting himself up from bottom. I think we're going to see a war here for 3 rounds. Probably a finish in the later rounds. I don't think it's going to be a first round KO. I want to go with Rocky Edwards, bruh. So I believe in the polished striking, and I think the matchup is going to favor him. You know what I mean? Again, he doesn't have to worry about being clinched up or taken down. So that means he can do his thing. He can fight more relaxed. He doesn't have to strike worrying that if I throw a kick here, they're going to double leg me. You know what I'm saying? And if you watch Leon Edwards when he fought against Brady and Bilal, whenever he would throw a body kick, which is his best weapon, or a high kick, he throws it almost like with half energy and half speed, if you will, and not enough to actually hurt his opponent. You know what I mean? He throws it because he's almost reluctant. He's like, oh, this one's going to shoot at me here. And if you watch how Brady and Bilal would shoot, they will shoot a takedown while walking forward. Jab, right, jab, boom, takedown. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Pratis is going to do that to him, which means now he can fight a little bit more confidently and a little bit more at peace, not worrying about if I throw a jab right and a left kick, this man's not going to shoot on me here. He's gonna take my 3-piece combination and try and strike with me again. That's going to make Leon Edwards actually be a little bit more composed and fight the way he normally fights, which is hit and not be hit. But I do believe that Pratis just got the power to KO him. So I just worry about that. Can Edwards actually withstand that power from Pratis? That's my only concern for him. But I'm going to go with Edwards on decision, though.
Sheesh. That's a big call. Leon Edwards is starting as the betting underdog here at 2.65. Carlos Prats at
Make that money.
1.5 for your money. So big value here if you are brave enough to bet on Leon Edwards. But I think you raised a really many good points there, BG. I was thinking about from a technical standpoint, I would agree that Leon Edwards is a better striker. But it's just a matter of can he avoid getting hit or getting caught for 3 rounds? Because if he does that, if he avoids getting solidly caught, I don't see Prats winning the fight on decision.
Not on decision.
If it goes the distance, it has to be Leon Edwards because Prats his fights don't go the distance unless he loses.
Like you remember the fight with Ian Gary, right? With Ian
Exactly.
And Ian Gary doesn't even strike as well as Leon Edwards does. But Ian Gary was able to strike just enough to edge every round and then throw in 1 or 2 takedowns when he needed to because he was getting like backed up by Pratis. That shoot double leg, boom, win the round. In terms of striking, he was just edging it with the volume over Pratis. Just slightly edging it over Pratis. And that won him the fight. So which means he didn't have to do extremely a lot to get that win. He just had to be defensively safe and out-volume him because Pratis isn't the kind of guy that's going to come up you and unload a Max Holloway combination on you. He's not going to do that. He's looking for 1 punch, 1 elbow, 1 high kick KO, 1 tip kick. That's Pratis. You know what I mean? It's not high volume. It's just devastating shots that come at your way. And Edwards is kind of the same, but with more precision. And also, I think, a little bit nicer footwork than Pratis has. A little bit.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that for sure, bro, for sure. I just feel like that little bit of grappling that Ian Gary did use, especially with the cage work and the clinch work, it was a big part in what contributed to him winning. So I don't think Leon's going to use any of that same grappling. Having said that, though, he has taken Kamaru Usman down in one of their fights. So he does have something there, especially if you're not expecting it. So if he was smart, I'd be wrestling or trying to wrestle a little bit. But maybe he backs his ability, bro, because he is that good technically. So it's a fascinating fight, man. I'm very much looking forward to it.
To add what you said there, AD, about the grappling is if I'm Leon's coaches here, I say every round, last 30 seconds, you shoot for a double leg or you shoot for a single or you get him up against the cage. Just bag that round. You know what I mean? Because in a striking match that will be closely contested, it can go either way. It's too risky for the judges. So I would say 30 seconds of every round, you wrestle heavy with this, bro.
Yeah, no, I think that's a sound strategy. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. That man who gets the job done here. As we keep moving to the opening bout on the main card that is in the lightweight division, it's Beneil Dariush versus BSD Benoit Saint-Denis. Beneil Dariush is 36 years old, ranked at number 9 in the lightweight division. Veteran record of 23-6-1. He's got 5 by KO, 8 by sub, 8 first round finishes. Last time out, beating our boy Renato Moicano by unanimous decision in his last fight, coming up against BSD. 29 years old, number 13 ranked lightweight, 15-3-0, 4 by KO, 11 by sub, 7 first round finishes. Last time out, getting back to winning ways, upsetting Mauricio Rufy by a second round sub at UFC Paris. So both of these guys coming off quite impressive wins, probably wins that people didn't expect them to pull off, and now they are opening up the main card for us, BG. What are your thoughts here, bro?
Fun fight. Yo, right off the bat, dude. What an amazing matchup here for the UFC. And for both guys, I think for their progression in their careers, I do think it's more to win for BSD than it is for Beneil Dariush. I think Beneil Dariush has more to lose than he has to gain from this fight, which is why he has to fucking win, right? I listened to I'm not sure if it was DC, one of those UFC pundits earlier in the day. It was Dean Thomas again, sorry, and he had a very good point that he made for me because I was just thinking about it in this fight, and I was like, who actually wins here? Like, in what way? What's the avenue? What's the weapons of choice? What's the game plan here? How are they going to get it done? Because you watch BSD's fight style, right? Very good grappling, strong striking, a bit aggressive, sometimes a bit too reckless. Sometimes he gets himself in danger when he doesn't have to. But for the most part, he's a very well-rounded athlete. For Beneil Dariush, it's the same, but with more experience. And what people forget about Dariush is we don't see it that much. The dude can grapple, guys. He can grapple really well. Um, he was able to withstand some of Manny Moicano's grappling, which is also high level grappling, right? And Beneil Dariush got through that. And here's the mad part about Beneil Dariush. When he's standing, the dude can strike. He's got a nasty body kick, which he throws at very much at offbeat rhythms, which I love. I love that about him because it's the key weapon that he uses to beat these up and comers. If you watch when Beneil fought against up and comers, it's a beautiful weapon that he uses where he's going backwards and forward. In fact, he used it on Manny Moicano as well. That body kick was there every day of the week, and he threw it without hesitation. And I feel like that's going to upset BSD because BSD is the kind of fighter that he does his best work when he's in tight. He's not a very good outside fighter, and I think that's when Dariush actually wins a lot of his fights. He's on the outside before getting in tight. So what I'm saying is that BSD, I don't think this is a good matchup for him. I don't think it's a good matchup for him. I think that he's gonna get a fright and realize that this old man in Dariush is actually overlooked largely by the audiences and the fan bases of the UFC. So I'm gonna go Beneil Dariush, right? I think he's gonna get the finish here. I think he's gonna be able to stop BSD. BSD will come hard in the first round, possibly even still win that first round. But then I think round 2, round 3, Benny Dariush will get that finish, guys. And I expect it to come via body kick KO.
Benny D to get the job done here. You say BG. Benny D is starting at the 2.65 underdog.
What?
Benoit something he has 1.5.
No way.
So I guess we're saying here JDM. But the Beneil Dariush and Leon Edwards, that's our 3-dog underdog parlay. Let's see what we can get for that. So that would be Dariush, Jack Della, and
Edwards.
Leon Edwards.
Yo, I can't believe Brady's actually the favorite. Anyway, sorry.
Total odds is 22. But those are 3 underdogs. That's all very 3 live dogs, but still 3 underdogs nonetheless.
But really good shots to go with, actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think probably separate bets on those, but I would avoid these for parlay. But we'll talk about that on the live stream, I imagine. Will we be live for this one? No, it's 1173. So
I think we will, because this main card starts an hour before the one championship starts. So I think we will, and I'm gonna have both of it on. I'm gonna watch both of it at the same time, but we will have obviously one championship on screen.
Okay, got it. All right, then that will round out the main card for us quite nicely, BG. There were a few prelims on the card that you wanted to talk about, including Bo Nickel, who got his ass demoted. He was actually part of the main card until not too long ago when he unfortunately got pushed back to prelims. I can imagine there's a lot of people, especially on X, who are absolutely loving that. But we'll go to the numbers here. Bo Nickel's 29 years old, 7-1-0, 2 wins by KO, 4 by sub. Lost to RDR by second round KO in his last fight. His opponent, Rodolfo Vieira, is 35 years old, 11-3-0, 1 by KO, 9 by sub. 6 first round finishes. Last time out beat Trayshawn Gore by unanimous decision. BG.
Yeah. Do you know why they moved into the prelims? I don't know what the reason was.
No idea.
Yeah. That was interesting. But again, I'm not doesn't matter to me. I don't really give that much stock into Bo Nickel anyway. But I will say this, I think he'll win this fight, guys. I can see him getting KO'd by Rodolfo, is that how you say his name? Rodolfo Vieira? Right? That's how you say his name, Rodolfo? Yeah. So I can see him getting KO'd. The punching power is there, but I mean Rodolfo primarily is a jiu-jitsu grappling kind of guy. That's his bread and butter. He wants to grapple. And I feel like that could be favorable for Bo Nickel here. Because Bo Nickel, we know what he's all about, right? He just wants to all-American your ass the whole time. So that means this could play into his hands, and that's why I'm actually picking Bo Nickel for the win. I don't want to pick him, but I feel like I can't ignore like what I've seen, right? And I watched that fight from Vieira and Rashan Gore, and it wasn't really the most entertaining fight between the two of them. And I thought Rashan Gore was actually going to beat Vieira, but Vieira did what he normally does, and that is play it safe, wait blanket. If I can't KO you, I'm going to take you down. I'm going to try and submit you. I'll just grind and pound. I'll hold you here, and that's kind of what he gives you there. I think Bo Nickal's a little bit more dynamic. I think he's got better striking between the two guys. I don't know if he's got the same kind of power, but in terms of wrestling, I think Bo Nickal's a better wrestler. And I think for those key factors or those key weapons that Bo Nickal possesses will carry him through the fight. And even if they get into a stand-up battle, right, and a stay stand-up battle, I think Bo Nickel still wins that exchanges as well. Because Vieira is not really, I don't know, he's not that polished, man. When it comes to his when it comes to his striking, it's not the most polished. And also he also has a habit of being hyper aggressive and relentless for the takedowns. Even when he's tired, he still does it all the time. And that for me, that doesn't really. It's not something you want to do when it comes to high level fighting in MMA. You wanna be, you want to be able to reserve your stamina really well over the course of the rounds, and it's something that Rodolfo doesn't do really well. So I got Bo Nickel for the win here, boys.
Keep thanks, PG. And then we'll keep moving to the next prelim you wanted to highlight here. It's Roman Kopylov coming up against RoboCop, Gregory Rodriguez. Roman Kopylov is 34 years old, 14-4-0, 12 wins by KO. Last time out, he lost to Paulo Costa by unanimous decision. G-Rod, RoboCop, is 17-6-0. He's 33 years old, 11 wins by KO, 3 by sub, 8 first-round finishes. Last time out, he beat Jack Hermanson with one of those first-round finishes. BG.
Yeah. Fun fight, this one. I think it's going to be a finish. It's Rodriguez, right? This guy never fights decisions. It's very rare that we get to see that. And I thought Rodriguez's last couple of fights has been very impressive. He went from being a fighter that is always involved in bloody wars and he's taking too much damage. And I must say, like, over the last couple of fights, he's shown me that he's worked on defense. He's been a little bit more creative and a little bit more composed in there, and not just creating wildfires. You know what I mean? He's choosing when to explode on fighters, and I like that about him. It makes him more dangerous, in my opinion. For Roman Kopylov, I always thought that the dude was good. I'm not gonna lie, I expected more from Kopylov over the time because I watched him come into the UFC and I've watched his growth, and I thought I expected a bit more there. I thought he was going to be a lot further in his career than he is right now. So for me, he's always going to be just outside of the rankings. Sorry, I'm just looking at the weight that they're fighting at. This is middleweight, right? This is not a welterweight fight. Anyway, so how I think this fight's going to play out, and I'm excited for this one. I think it's going to be a KO in this fight. I expect Kopylov to start hard in the first round like he always does. Blasting a lot of body kicks, high kicks, 1-2 punches, then a high kick again. But he's going to realize very quickly that that's not actually going to hurt Rodriguez. And Rodriguez is going to be able to tank right through it and catch him with some big punches and knock him out, bro. So I'm looking forward to a second round KO from Gregory Rodriguez. If not second round, then first round KO. But I'd be surprised if these guys go to 3 rounds. I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agreed there, BG. One for the boys. Apparently, from what I see on X, we have Tracy Cortez making an appearance at this pay-per-view. Tracy Cortez is 31 years old. She's the number 8 ranked flyweight. She's 12-0. She beat Ario by unanimous decision in her last fight. Coming up against Erin Blanchfield, who is 26 years old, number 4 ranked flyweight. 13-0, 2 wins by KO, 4 wins by sub, 3 first round finishes. Last time out, beat Thugros Nama Yunus by unanimous decision. Brother Gaia.
Yeah, I like this fight because it's got to do with obviously the top 5, top 10 of that women's strawweight division. So I'm all hyped for the dude, and I think this is going to be a fun fight for the guy, not just for the guys, but I think for combat sports viewers.
Heyo.
Who do I think is going to win? I'm going to go with Erin Blanchfield. I think she's the more polished athlete. She's got fantastic grappling, which I think Tracy Cortez won't deal with. Tracy Cortez can strike. She can strike, and she's actually quite strong. She's got a lot of power, but doesn't have a lot of stamina. She can't really go the 3 rounds that well. I know her last fight, she did okay against Viviana Oriju, but I mean, Viviana Oriju There's not really much to write home about. She lost to Rose Namajunas before that, and Eden's last win was against Rose Namajunas. So I think Eden has fought against arguably higher competition than what Stacey has fought. And I'm gonna say this now, and this may come across very, very bad and wrong for me to say, but I feel like Stacey Cortez isn't in the sport the same way. Like she's half in, half out if you think about it. Whereas Blanchfield, she's like all in. This is everything. This is her whole entire life. There's nothing else for her but this. This is all she has. And she's still young, 26 years old, dude. I thought she was much older than that. She's only 26. So the sky's the limit for her. She still has so many more levels to go. And Tracy Cortez, in my opinion, she's more concerned about, putting on good performances, getting the paychecks, securing the business outside of the fight scene as well, which is all okay. I'm all for that. But I mean, as a fighter, as a fighting athlete, you can't be half in, half out. You have to either be all in or you're not. Because if you're not all in, you're gonna take losses and you're gonna take bad losses. And it's gonna affect you. It's gonna put you into some depressive states. You know what I mean? And Tracy Cortez, I can't really see her having anything that can really put Eden in trouble. You know what I mean? I can't see her knocking Eden Blanchfield out. I don't see her out tanking Eden. She's taller than Eden. She's slightly bigger than Eden. She's a little bit more powerful. You can see that. But Eden fights like a very high level fighter in terms of you really have to take her arm off you to beat her. She's not going to give it up so easily. She's got powerful, dominant wrestling, and she can strike on the outside really well. And she's got one thing that I think that Tracy won't be able to deal with, and that is the gas tank. Blanchfield has got the gas tank, bruh. Marab-esque, if you will. And I think Tracy will fold to that weapon, that stamina. And again, I watched Tracy's fights, and I can't see anything about it where I'm going, that's a dangerous weapon that she has right there. I wonder who's going to deal with that weapon. I don't see it. But with Blanchfield, I can see her weaponizing that stamina and that pressure, overwhelming, relentless pressure. And that will make Tracy fold. Tracy carries quite a bit of muscle for the strawweight division, guys. She does carry quite a bit of muscle. And like we all know, muscle-bound fighters don't have a lot of rounds in them. They've got 2 to 3 at most, if you will. So I got Blanchfield for the win. I think she's the more dominant athlete. I'll go with her.
Give thanks, brother Gaia, and that rounds out our show notes. There are a couple of known fighters on the card. We got Welcome Wallmaker, who of course starched Cameron Simon. He'll be coming up against Cody Allen. Gerald Mearshot's still doing it. He's coming up against Carl Dorcas. Pat Sabatini.
Oh, hey.
Mariscal. Some really mainstays here, but
Angela Yo.
definitely Angela Yo, yeah.
Yes, what's her name
So,
also? Hamza Chimaev's training partner, Baisang Susikayev. That's his number one training partner. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. So maybe something worth waking up for if you are south of the equator. But that is our time, BG, regarding the UFC 322 preview. So as always, we will go to some final thoughts and pre-fight rating for the card before we wrap it up, please. So,
final thoughts. Really, really amazing fight card. I'm not gonna lie. A bit unfortunate with the starting times. That brings the points down for me a little bit. But I like that there's 2 title fights. In fact, if you look at the card from the main card standpoint, those are all like number 1 contenders that are fighting. Champions versus champions, number 1 contenders. It's just a lot that's at stake for a lot of these fighters that's on this fight card here. So that actually gives me a high rating for the fight card. And I'm going to give it a solid 7.5, maybe even an 8, dude. Because even though the prelims are not, like, they're not really making me want to wake up for them, they still have some really good fighters on the prelims. I mean, there's also number 1 contenders, or at least title implications for the women's strawweight division as well, with Blanchfield and Tracy Cortez. So I'm going to push it up to an 8. Actually, no, 7.5. I'm bringing the point down because it's on a weekend where it's filled with a bunch of other sports at the same time as well. So I'll go 7.5.
Yeah, fair. Look, I'm going to give this one an 8.5, bro. I think we shouldn't compare it to 1173, bro. It's just not fair. That's a mythical card, and you can't really compare anything to that. I think, especially considering the quality of the cards that UFC have put on recently, this is an absolute humdinger. So for that, I'm going to go 8.5 here. Very much looking forward to it. And yeah, hoping that the score can even go up to maybe a 9.5 by the end of it.
Can't wait.
But let us know your pre-fight scores before the event, ladies and gentlemen. But if you have made it this far, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to Fighting with Friends. Stop comment in the comment section. Got more content coming, so you can watch the podcast every day.
Every day. Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Let's go, guys. Let's go. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Just to be clear again, just to make another announcement. I know I've said it earlier in the week as well. The lives are looking really amazing, guys. You guys are making this live watch-alongs for us absolutely amazing. So keep a lookout for that. We're going to be doing a live watch-along on Friday for One Friday Fights 133. That's going to be a banger. Then obviously this weekend, you all know it's just a weekend of combat sports. Perfect timing because there's no football on this weekend. So we're just going to have fights. So stay tuned for Fighting with Friends. We are going to be live on Sunday for both UFC and 173. Can't wait for that. Hope to see you all there. From myself and the Fighting with Friends team, please have yourself a fantastic week. Looking forward to seeing you guys on this weekend. Have a very good time and we'll see you then. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you.